right, welcome everyone. I can actually see that that number is ticking up. So while we wait for everyone to join, I would love to know from you guys what you're doing for the festive holiday season. So tell me in the chat, are you spending it with friends, family? Are you having a good meal? Personally, I'm going to be in Brisbane, Australia, which is where my family's from. And it's actually where Fathom's from. So yeah, I'm actually gonna have a sunny summer Christmas this year. What are you guys doing? Thanks, Darren. He says, enjoy Brisbane. I have a hi from Ireland. Hopefully you don't have too cold of a Christmas. All good here, glad to hear. Does anyone else have any fun festive plans? Totally fine if not. Hopefully you guys are doing something fun wherever you are spending Christmas this year. So, today's session is What's Next for Fathom, the 2026 Roadmap Reveal, and the 2025 Year in Review. So, it's actually quite an exciting one. Many of you will know that we keep our roadmap quite close to our chest, but today you're getting a sneak preview. So, a super exciting session in store. As a quick introduction of myself, I'm Jess. I'm the head of the advisor channel for EMEA. And joining me today is Luke, and he is our senior product manager. So you're in quite good hands to kind of understand what's coming up on the roadmap. And I'll pass over to Luke in just a few minutes. But first, our agenda for today will cover some of the problems we're solving, some of the wins for you, what's new and what's coming up on our roadmap, and then we'll finish the session with a live Q&A. So I will do my best to get through as many questions as possible. So again, please do make use of that feature. Um, in 2025, we heard quite a few different scenarios and different problems that you were facing. So you might recognize yourself in some of these. Some of the problems we heard were tweaking and stitching reports takes time. So that could have been over 2 hours for you to try to stitch together reports from different systems, all into one board pack and all into one place. Maybe you're thinking my reports look unprofessional. You can't add images. You can't add kind of external context without editing. Um, Asking yourself, where did the forecast go wrong? So not being able to compare and predict 3 months ago versus reality or what's happening today. Thinking to yourself, who needs help now? So you might have hundreds of clients, even if you just have 10 clients at your firm, being able to monitor them in real time and act quickly, it's quite a struggle. You might be thinking back to Excel again, so exporting data just to get variance analysis between forecast versions, or managing 10 entities is painful. So not having bulk actions or being able to be as efficient as you'd like to be. So those are some of the problems that we heard. And in 2025 and beyond, we're focused on solving challenges. Some of the ways we've been doing that is dropping cost barriers, especially for per company pricing, getting visibility over errors when imports fail so that you can fix things quickly, having confidence in your numbers, so making it more visible so that you know where figures are coming from, and then finally integrations. So making sure that you're not missing any connections to key accounting systems, which of course makes your data more actionable and accurate. So what has Fathom been up to? Our senior product manager, Luke, will go over the 2025 product improvements and will give us a quick glimpse into the 2026 roadmap. So I will pass over to Luke.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. So my name is Luke Ryan and I'm a Senior Product Manager here at Fathom. Just as a very quick introduction for those of you who don't know me, I've been at Fathom for about 3.5 years now. I joined just before we were acquired by the Access Group, and my day-to-day is basically just talking to customers and prospects such as yourselves, trying to figure out which problems we need to solve and how we can influence the product roadmap and product strategy in order to implement solutions in the product to solve those problems. So I love talking to customers. I love getting all sorts of feedback in terms of feature improvements and requests, and really just understanding pain points that currently exist. So I'm going to be running through a bit of a showcase of what we delivered in 2025, as well as a bit of a sneak peek in terms of our roadmap for the next few months as well. So 2025 was a massive year for us. We delivered more than we ever have. We pushed out more code than we ever have, and we've introduced things like new pricing options, which we hadn't done since the inception of Fathom back in 2012 or 2013. So I'm just going to quickly run through this and then I'll give a bit of a demonstration in terms of how that looks in product and what sort of improvements we made throughout the year. So as I mentioned, we released a new pricing option for the first time since inception, which is the Fathom Portfolio Plan, which is a way for accountants, advisors, and business coaches to bulk import and update companies and have them show up on our Insights dashboard. We really wanted to give our users the ability to monitor, identify, and engage with clients with meaningful summary reports, and to be able to do that at scale and efficiently as well. So we created a very friendly pricing tier options for Fathom Portfolio, which means that for the lowest tier plan you can get as low as 95 cents per company imported for up to 100 companies. So just a very cost-effective way of importing those clients onto the dashboard and being able to monitor them and just check how they're going throughout the year. We listened to feedback after we released Fathom Portfolio. So we implemented things like saved dashboard views, the ability to export the dashboard to Excel, and the ability to add commentary to summary reports as well. We refreshed our company settings by migrating it from our older code base to our newer code base, which brought on some improvements such as improvements to usability and performance, as well as a couple different enhancements that we were able to add along the way. A few months back, we added media and reports, so the ability to directly embed PDFs and images straight into reports and have those export and render into Fathom reports when they're exported to PDF. Last month, we delivered forecast snapshots. So as I'm sure some of you are aware, forecasting in Fathom is dynamic, so it updates as the actuals update throughout the year. And this is great to keep your forecast relevant and up to date. But when you need to compare, against different scenarios and really just need to compare static versions of that forecast, that's where forecast snapshots come in. So you're able to save static versions of the forecast and then integrate this into reporting and do that variance reporting. That's really important. We received our SOC 2 Type 2 certification. Fathom has always been extremely proud about our data privacy and our data security. So this was sort of just a testament to that, and we were really proud to be able to receive that certification and provide those reports to our customers. Finally, we've just released the ability to bulk import companies from Excel. So we did bulk import and bulk update for cloud companies, but we've just released that for Excel as well. And the ability to add Excel companies to the portfolio plan. So be able to import those from different source systems which we might not currently support and have those show up on the Insights dashboard for that monitoring and engaging. And then finally, we've just made some improvements to import and update error handling. So being able to display, which errors might be occurring and how to resolve those in a friendlier fashion. So I'm just going to jump into the product now and just show some of that new functionality that I was just mentioning that we released in 2025. So as I mentioned, bulk import and bulk update was huge for us. We really wanted to create efficiencies and save time, especially when bringing in the new portfolio plan. So we wanted to create the ability to really quickly bring in all those clients and start monitoring those from the get-go. So when you import companies now, you'll see these two options, Pro and Portfolio. And as I mentioned, the portfolio plan is just a great way to be able to identify which clients might be struggling or excelling at a really cost-effective rate. So be able to get in, hundreds of those entities for something that's quite affordable and have those show up on the Insights dashboard. So bulk update as well, I'll just quickly show that. The ability to just select hundreds of companies and just have those update in the background so you can make sure that your data is always nice and up to date and relevant, which is really important. I'll just kick off one of those. So the Insights dashboard, as I mentioned, is a great way to monitor, identify, and engage with all your clients or all your entities in one place. So for example, here I've got my construction clients saved view on, which is just a different combination of metrics here and some different filters and sorting options. And straight away I can see, which of these entities might be struggling based on these red colorings here on these metrics, and which might be excelling as well based on these green colorings. So these are dictated by thresholds, which I can set primarily based on industries, which is the primary use case for it. So obviously if you have clients in different industries. It's really handy to be able to create different thresholds for those different metrics based on those different industries. For example, revenue might be different as a growth percentage in construction versus in hospitality. So having those thresholds be relevant to each different company in here was really important for us. So what's handy about this is the ability to then drill down into a trend of those metrics over time, so I can see exactly how this company has performed over time. And then finally, I can generate a summary report. So this is just a lightweight version of Fathom's reporting, which is just pages with different combinations of really key components that I can start to put together and create like a really bespoke and beautiful summary report, which I can get out to those clients and start being proactive about advisory and engagement with those clients. So that was Fathom Portfolio. As I mentioned, we released a couple of updates after we released the new portfolio plan. That was the ability to download the dashboard to Excel, the ability to create those saved views. So I've got this construction clients view on here, and then the ability to add commentary and summary reports as well. So that isn't something I showed, but if I add some pages here, I can just quickly start typing in some commentary, which is really great if I want to point out any of these metrics here. So the next thing I wanted to showcase was media and reports. So media and reports was a great way for us to be able to import images and PDFs directly into Fathom reports. So there's a ton of different workarounds and use cases for this. Obviously, Fathom doesn't support all data sources, so if you have really important metrics or data in different sources, like Google Analytics as a good example, you can directly add these to Fathom reports. You can just drag and drop them. A common use case is even just copying a grid of cells from an Excel file and pasting them directly into your Fathom report, like with Control V, and that will directly add that as an image into your Fathom report. So there's a lot of utility here and a lot of flexibility to be able to actually add different images and add different PDFs and have them, embed directly into your Fathom reports. You can even add different Fathom reports into other Fathom reports, so a great way to group reports as well, and have those directly embedded when you export that to PDF. As I mentioned as well, forecast snapshots was a huge release for us, which gave us the ability to create static versions of the forecast. So what I can do now is, in the past, I could only save my forecast as budget. We've only got one budget object in Fathom. So you'd have to overwrite this in order to report on forecast data in reporting. But now I can just simply create a forecast snapshot and then have this flow through directly to reporting as well. So once I hit create snapshot here, I am redirected to my forecast settings, and then I can see this snapshot in here. I can view it, rename it, update and delete it. I can just see sort of a grid version of this and how the figures are all putting together from a monthly, quarterly, or yearly perspective. And then I can come into reports and that data will all be in there as well. So here's that report I created just before. If I add a financials table here and then come to columns, you can see this new forecast snapshots column. So I can start to just add different values and see how my forecast is looking over time. We've got a whole new bunch of variance options, so you can compare your actuals against your forecast, your budget against your forecast, or even start to look at projections and how they're performing as well. So that was forecast snapshots. The last thing I wanted to touch on in terms of what we delivered throughout the year was just improved error handling. So with bulk updates, so I kicked off that update before, I can see that these are queued. I can see exactly which companies are being updated in terms of which ones are in progress, which ones are queued, which ones have succeeded, and then which ones have failed. And now I'll actually receive a lot more detailed error messaging and details around these failures as well. And I'll be able to retry these and actually visit the company settings for these companies that have failed to update. So yeah, we had a massive year at Fathom in 2025. We collected a lot of feedback, and we're using that to actively develop our product strategy and keep building improvements to the product over time. So what I wanted to touch on now was the things we have planned in the next few months, so in early 2026. So I'll show just one of these for now. I don't want to give too much away, but probably the most exciting thing I wanted to showcase was AI report commentary. So this will be our first step into the AI realm. As everyone knows, AI is an extremely hot topic right now. So we've had the chance to gather a lot of feedback and figure out which problems are worth solving and which efficiencies we can create in the product. So we've decided to build AI report commentary, which is coming in Q3 FY26. So I'm just going to showcase a bit of that functionality in a second and show you exactly what that will look like in Fathom. We'll be integrating with FreeAgent as well, which is a UK accounting system. We've got a lot of feedback for that as well of users wanting to integrate with FreeAgent directly and have their data automatically sync. We'll be delivering some new forecasting features, primarily around quality of life, so usability and flexibility and things like bulk driver actions and greater cash flow visibility. So being able to determine how those cash flow figures are actually being made up, so which account impacts are moving those line items. And then finally, something we've also had a lot of requests for is divisional data and consolidations. So actually being able to consolidate similar divisions across all companies in a consolidated group and being able to manage those with a divisional manager as well in those consolidations. So that's something that's extremely hard to do these days is get that data consolidated, and that's a key problem we want to solve in the early half of next year. And then finally, we'll be adding some more quality of life reporting features as well. These are primarily things around greater flexibility of report cover designs, greater navigation and organization of reports. So I just wanted to quickly touch on AI report commentary and what that's going to look like. I know a lot of people are excited about what Fathom's doing in the AI space, so I just wanted to quickly be able to demonstrate that and what exactly that looks like. So I'll just go into my development environment here, jump into reports, and let me just create a new report just to showcase that. So I'll add a table just as a very basic sort of demonstration. So on most reporting components, once we release AI report commentary, you'll see this new AI commentary button here. So when I click this, this will open up a AI commentary chat window on the side. So sort of something you'd be familiar with if you've used ChatGPT or Claude or anything like that. What we can do is we've got a few predefined prompts here around summarizing key insights, analyzing variance, and then generating questions for stakeholders as well. But what I can actually do is I can write my own prompts in here as well. So anything I want to ask the AI model about the data that I've referenced here, I can ask it in this prompt window. I've got a few different options in terms of the response I receive. So I can dictate the length of the response, whether it's concise or detailed. I can dictate the style, simple or technical. And then I can use business context or report context as well, which I'll touch on in just a second. So what I'll do here is I will just summarize key insights. This will basically just send the data that you've selected to our AI model. That will generate a response based on the prompts used. And then that will return some key insights around the data that I've directly referenced. I'll touch on a few things, a few differentiators in just a moment, but one of the key things is something we're calling symbolic attribution. So symbolic attribution is a way for us to directly tie data points that are referenced in the AI model response back to the financials and non-financials in your company. So one of the problems that a lot of people have with AI currently is its ability to hallucinate. This is obviously a massive problem when it comes to accounting. We don't want a black box. We want to know exactly how all figures are calculated and derived. So when the model returns a response here, I'll be able to directly see the data points that it is recognizing, that it is linking to. And I can even see calculations that the model has made as well. These can then be directly added back to my report. So this is my AI report commentary. I can then close this and start to edit this however I want. I can detach that symbolic attribution, I can edit these figures, or I can even jump back into that conversation and start asking further questions and prompting for more information. So when we release this, you'll be able to select multiple components in a report. So I might have multiple charts and tables in my report. I might have KPI data, budget data, forecast data, non-financial data, and this will all be able to be referenced and used as the data context in AI reporting. So there's a huge amount of power in being able to actually collate all this data, ask questions, and send that all off and generate a response that's meaningful and insightful. As I mentioned earlier, we've got this this business context and report context down here. So report context is a way of adding specific context about the report and sending this to the AI model. So this might be who the audience is, what the sort of targeted messaging is, what the purpose of the report is, and this will add context to the AI and make it much more relevant. In terms of the business context, we've also added a similar section in the company settings. So if I jump to the company settings here, and then I come down to my company profile, you'll see this new AI business context section. Here I can actually establish goals, strategy, industry conditions or landscape, and any other important context about this business. And this will be used by the AI model when it is generating those responses. So as an example here, I might put in a goal of my annual revenue I want to achieve. If I jump back into the report and then I go into AI commentary, I can turn on my business context and then I can again ask it to summarize key insights. What it will do now is it will use that context I've set in the company that stays fixed, and it will use that in its response. So in just a moment, we'll get a response back. But while I'm waiting for that now, we'll also have the ability to use prompts from a prompt library as well. So this is just a quick way to pull up those prompts. And in the future, we want to be able to create an organization prompt library. So the ability to actually type prompts into the organization settings and save them, and then these then be accessible to all your entities or all your clients in Fathom. So you can see here that model has started to directly reference that goal of $20 million in revenue that I've specified. So that's a sort of a small example of how it can actually start to use the context I set against the business and how powerful that can be in terms of if you're setting different goals or different challenges or objectives in your company profile, and then having this directly referenced. So what I can do as well is, obviously, as I shared before, I can add this to my report. I can then copy this to my clipboard, or I can try regenerating the response. I can ask further questions and just play around with this and seeing how I can get a greater quality of response. I'll mention that this is powered by Access Evo. So Access Evo is the Access Group's AI platform, which uses Copilot in order to generate our AI responses and gives us access to the models we're using. So Fathom is really lucky to be able to have access to that and those resources through the Access Group, which will allow us to put out this functionality very soon. So that's a bit of a wrap up of what we've done in 2025 and what we have coming very shortly in the next few months in 2026. I hope you found this valuable. I hope there's some things you're looking forward to. But as always, if there's anything else that you want to see in Fathom and you want us to develop and include, please reach out and let us know, and we'll be happy to look into that. Thanks, everyone.
Well, thanks, Luke. Hopefully that was a really insightful session for you guys. I can see there's been tons of questions coming in, so please keep those coming, and lots of exciting chats as well about the upcoming features. So that's awesome. Just a quick summary of what Luke said in case you missed anything. I can see a few people joined kind of mid-session as well. What we released in 2025 was the Fathom Portfolio Plan, the Insights Dashboard with thresholds and summary reports, the Insights Dashboard Save View and Download, which again was one of our quick follows, one of our most requested features off the back of that release. Tagging, bulk editing, and adding images and PDFs in reports, and finally forecast snapshots. So a very busy year on the Fathom front. What's to come? Again, just to recap what Luke said, we do have an exciting free agent integration coming up, the AI report commentary, which I know there was a lot of excitement over, a consolidations upgrade, and a forecasting upgrade as well. So this is a super important question. I've already seen a couple kind of requests come through in the chat, but we would love to know from your perspective, how would Fathom be better for you in 2026? Now, this is how we develop our product. So Luke actually personally goes through all of the requests that come through. So please take this as an opportunity just to mention in the chat, what features you'd like to see, what might make Fathom better, what might excite you if, Fathom brought it in. Tell us in the chat. We'll make sure that that feedback goes directly to Luke and that he goes through everything. That is how both media in reports and forecast snapshots got released. So basically, we were just inundated with requests for it. and we were able to bring it to you guys. So yeah, your feedback is really important. And I'm getting quite a few. So being able to forecast and report on departments, there is kind of a workaround for that one, Sarah. So you can import them as a standalone entity. That gives you the full Fathom functionality for them, which is super handy. So you can still forecast, you can still report individually. If you're not sure how to do that, there's some super nice stuff in our help center, but you can also ask support. You can ask your account manager. So please use the resource that works best for you there. We have transactional level data. That's a really good one, Melissa. Would love to know if that's for reporting, if that's for forecasting, or something else that you have in mind. We have some direct method forecasting. Darren said, keep your requests coming. We'll pass them to our product team. So we'll certainly do that. Please keep answering, please keep entering those into the chat. Um, and then finally, I would love to answer any questions you have. So again, I'll go through as many as I can in the session. If I don't get through them, we'll make sure we follow up. And then if you're not currently using Fathom, there is a 14-day free trial. You can access that directly from our website. The URL is just below. So yeah, please do have a little explore of those new features, whether you're a current Fathom user or not. I think it really kind of brings them to life. But again, I have a few questions to go through here. So thank you guys for submitting. Keep those coming. I have some really good ones. So will there be plans to increase the KPI restriction from 60? That's a really good one. There is a restriction of 60, but it's one that maybe isn't super apparent. The restriction to 60 is the number of KPIs that you have selected as on. So under step 4 of your settings, they're selected as on. You can have up to 60 chosen. But that 60 is what's filtering through to some of our analysis tools and some of the more like specified visuals. What you can actually do is you can select those off or any off that maybe aren't like a very key metric. If you want to create more, you can continue to do that. You can only have 60 within some of those visuals though, but you can still have more than 60 within your actual reports. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, give us a shout. We can definitely explain in more detail as well, and we can show you. Um, a few more. So I work with schools, and it would be really helpful if Fathom could manage 3 terms a year, as we don't do calendared quarters. That's a really good one, Sarah. I think we've heard that from at least a couple of schools before. So we'll make sure that one gets to Luke for his review as well. I have, is there a way to create custom reports? For example, our people costs are spread across cost of sales and expenses, but I want to create a people cost report that includes both, but excludes non-relevant accounts. That's also a really good question. So there is a way to create custom reports, obviously depending on what type of report or visual you're wanting. But for example, a really common way you might want to display that data is in a custom table. That can be done. If you're in Fathom, feel welcome to follow along, or you can watch the recording back or search it in our help center. But when you log in and you kind of enter into reports, you'll notice under the tables section, when you filter at the top, there's KPI tables and KPI trends. Now, those are some of my favorite tables because they're fully customizable, not only by column, kind of like a regular Fathom table, but you can also customize them by row. So even if you wanted to, you could build out a full custom P&L for your people costs there. So you could select row by row the relevant items. If it's a very long one, it might be a little tedious, but it's a one-time setup, then it's done. And there's some extra stylistic things you can do. So you can do like a total row style. You can like indent different lines. So you can really make it look exactly like a custom Fathom financial table. So hopefully that answers your question. Again, if you have any more questions on that, just give us a shout and we can make sure that those get answered. I have, will the AI commentary take the visible data, visible data, or dig deeper? That's also a really good one. So we'll be able to dig deeper. You obviously can add in things like business context. You can add in like business goals. So I guess when Fathom's taking that AI commentary in, it also kind of considers the other additional information that you've input. I don't know exactly how extensive it will be. I think someone else here has asked. I think I saw someone ask if it will take like a URL from a business I'm not too sure on that one. Again, it's a feature that um, we've obviously seen, but don't know kind of all the details yet. Um, so yeah, it will be able to take additional context. I'm not sure on the URL. Maybe Darren knows, and if he does, maybe he can pop that in the chat. But yeah, there will be some additional context beyond just the visible data from the report. Um, Someone said, I can't see any insights dashboard. Is this because I'm a business and not an accounting firm? Yeah, so Simone, that's really like a multi-entity feature. So let's say you have like, even if you have like 10 companies, for example, within your business, maybe you're a very large business. If those were all connected, you would be able to see them in the insights dashboard and surface those great insights. But if it's just the one entity, unfortunately, you won't be able to do that. The nice thing is you can surface all your data within the individual company. So it's still in one place for you, which is handy. But you don't have the cool like dashboard insights and those kinds of visuals, which I think are just fun to play with. Um, Josh says, is there plans for beta access to AI features? Would love to be able to test. Love that, Josh. So yeah, I think we should have some sort of open beta at some point. We can note you down for that. If anyone else is interested, give us a shout. Usually we do go through beta and basically you can turn that as a feature like on or off. Um, I think the default is that it would be off, but you can turn it on once that goes into open beta. Um, so yeah, if anyone else is keen, give us a shout and we can just double check with the product team whether that can be added to the list. Um, Really good question. Um, I have a couple others on the AI commentary. So yeah, really good question. Um, I think at the moment as well, in terms of the actual uh, release, like when will it be available? I believe it's next quarter. I won't go too detailed with a timeline, but yeah, I believe it should be next quarter. So keep an eye out. We'll also be giving you um, like direct marketing updates. You can sign up to our blog as well if you want those updates, kind of in a bit more real time. Or if you've made a product request with your account manager or with the support team, and you'll get a direct email from us as well. So lots of ways that you can stay informed on when it's released. Um, Hopefully I am answering all of these. Awesome says, I do have 5 businesses, but I don't see it. I wonder if there's a limit for minimum you can see. Hmm, that is a good question. We might have to come back to you on that one, Simone. Yeah, really good question. I have one from Eric here. When are we going to be able to consolidate consolidations without having to redo all the forecasting in the top consolidation? I hear you on that. Um, if I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure, but again, we'll make sure that that goes to Luke for review. Um, Obviously, there is a little bit of a workaround if you want to roll up your forecast. You can essentially save your forecast as a budget, and then that does pull through at the consolidated level if you wanted to start your forecast that way. I will just say it's only for the P&L that will work for. So you will still have to reforecast the balance sheet, which it sounds like maybe you've encountered. Um, Again, guys, I won't take too much of your time. So um, yeah, Darren's just said we'll be outreaching once we go to beta. Um, and again, speak to your account manager. I think that's on the AI commentary. Um, if you guys have any more feedback for us, any more requests, please do get in touch. I think I've gotten through a lot of questions, but probably not all of them. So if we've missed any, we will just follow up with you after the session. And as a reminder, we are going to send you the session recording as well. So please do keep an eye out for that if you want to recap or you just want to review the roadmap or what's been released or get that amazing demo from Luke. Yeah, please do feel welcome to watch that back. But for now, I will say thank you so much for joining. It's been fantastic having all your interactions, all of your questions. I really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a lovely festive season and an easy end to the year. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.